You're listening to the Bulldog Insider podcast, brought to you by Essentia Health.
It only takes one step, twist, or crunch to know something doesn't feel right. Essentia Health's orthopedic and sports medicine team gets you back to doing what you love with commitment, resilience, intention. We're here to keep you moving forward. Visit essentiahealth.org to learn more about orthopedics and sports medicine, like nowhere else.
Hello and welcome to the Duluth News Tribune's Bulldog Insider podcast. I'm your host, Matt Wellens, the Bulldogs hockey beat reporter at the News Tribune.
And I'm Zach Schneider, the television voice of Bulldogs hockey on My Nine Sports.
This week on the podcast, we're joined by the senior captain of the Bulldogs men's hockey team. He's a 2022 sixth-round draft pick of the Chicago Blackhawks and former Red Wings fan, I learned at Media Day. Sorry to my wife who doesn't listen to this podcast anyways. So welcome to the podcast, Dominic James. Hi, Dom.
Yeah. Hi. How's it going? Thanks for having me, guys.
So I believe this is your first full appearance on the podcast.
Yeah.
I think we had you on with a mini episode with Wyatt Kaiser around the World Juniors. We planned to get you on the podcast last year.
Yeah.
There's lots of planning I do for this podcast that doesn't turn out. But then your season ended after 2 games. It's almost been exactly a year since you had that season-ending shoulder injury. I'm wondering how much that injury changed the course of your hockey career.
Yeah. I mean, completely changed it. I think, I was ready to have a great season my junior year. And then, you kind of look ahead and see what the options are for that next year. And then, it kind of all gets taken from you that second game in. So that's the only thing you're worrying about after that. It's not the future. It's just working on that shoulder and making sure you can get back to where you were.
So what was your plan to do 3 years, or was it up in the air at this time last year on what you were going to do, whether you're going to be back for a 4th year?
Yeah, I mean, just try not to think about that early in the year. And I think I was just going in, just trying to have the best year I could have, and then deal with that at the end of the year. So I think I was just worried about the games as they came and tried not to worry about the future too much.
You're eligible for a 5th year here. Actually,
yeah.
Have you made a decision on a 5th year? Or are you going to give us the answer and give people the non-answer and give people hope that you come back for a 5th year?
No, I mean, I would like to graduate and get on, but we'll see. You never know.
What are you studying?
Communications major.
Communications major, yeah. And you're set to graduate here?
Yep.
So in that way, the injury is allowing you to finish up this
right.
degree. That's a positive, obvious. And the positive of being able to captain the Bulldogs as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge thing for me coming back, for sure.
You're only one official game into it, but does it make this senior season a little bit easier than what last year would have been? I mean, if you if you don't get hurt last year and you have a good year, then at the, from the midway point on, really, then all the questions start to be asked. We all assume you're going to be leaving after this year. If does that make it easier to just be here and try to have a great year and accomplish everything you're trying to do?
Yeah, I think 100%. Having to deal with that decision last year and, not even playing and then making the decision to come back definitely takes a lot of weight off my shoulders, where I can just come back and kind of just play and just be in college for one more year and just be with my buddies and, be at AMSoil, be in Duluth. It takes a lot of pressure off for sure.
To hear everything that was said about you through last season, I mean, the team on the ice had some struggles, but then once you got back into practice with the team, we heard from the coaches and the players that they liked having you back. You raised the competition level. You were named the captain. Going into this season, how much do you value getting the chance to be the leader of this year's team with as many new faces and even the veterans, the guys that have been with you for a couple years? How much do you value just getting the chance to do that part?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge idea for me to, impact these guys and, be a leader, be the captain and, impact a lot of the younger guys that are coming in, because there's a lot of talent on our team. But yeah, for me, it's, I was impacted by Noah Cates my freshman year, and I still, base some daily things off of what he did and taught me when I was younger. So I think that's what I try to I try to do for these younger guys. And, you know, I'm humbled to be in the position to have these guys look up to me and maybe one day be their Noah Cates one day. So, you know, it's a huge idea for me to be that guy.
Playing 4 years at college worked out pretty well for Noah Cates too. By the way, you're only 22, so you're still very young. To Zach and I, you're still very, very young. But what's it like for you playing on this team this year? That's so much younger. Like, does it make you feel old, or does being a 22-year-old captain maybe help you relate to all these young kids on the team?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've always been one of the younger guys on my team. And then this year comes around and you slowly start to realize you're not that young guy anymore. So, yeah, I mean, there's still some older guys, but just being in the position I am with the C on my sweater, I think, you know, it does make me mature a little bit more and, you know, act a little bit older than, you know, I might have last year and mess around a little bit more. But not to say that I don't still do it, because, you know, that's what you do it for, be in the locker room with the boys. So, yeah, it definitely helps you grow up a little bit more when the younger guys all fly in and you realize you're an older guy now.
You were just 18 when you and Wyatt Kaiser both got here in 2021, 2022. That was a much, much older team that you guys joined at the time than maybe what the freshmen are joining right now. What was that dynamic like back then? Yeah,
I mean, to me, it was perfect. We had 5 or 6 great leaders, and, you know, Louis Rail and Kobe Roth, and you know, it was Noah Cates' team, and we knew that he was our great leader. So, you know, they taught me how to be a Bulldog right away, and taught all 4 of us, and 5, including Franny. So, just to base a lot of things today, what I did and learned my freshman year, it's super easy, because, you know, those guys really showed us how to do it and showed us how to work and listen to Sandy and, you know, just be all ears, you know, be humble, and everything that a Bulldog is, they taught me how to do it. So
what are some of those things that you learned from Noah Cates that maybe you're using on this year's freshman now as the captain?
Yeah, I mean, it's not completely things, you know, that I might say, but just watching him around the room, it was, you know, it was a NHL hockey player on my college team. You know, he had a routine for everything, and, you know, he didn't waste any time with anything, and took care of his body like a pro. And I was able to, without even talking to him about it, I was able to look at him and watch him do that and realize that one day I need to get to that place, and I need to do the same things he's doing if I want to, whether it's be the captain or move on to be a NHL player. So a lot of things he did without even saying anything, and that's what helped me a lot. But he always knew what to say, and if we were in trouble in a game, and, you know, everyone might have been down and coach might have been, you know, ripping us a bit, all you got to do is look at, you know, how Cates's reacting in his stall. It might not even be him saying anything, but just the way he's holding himself helped me a lot in those positions.
I think any player we've talked to, you know, for whatever reason that has an extended absence like you had last season from playing games, you know, develops a new perspective for their time at UMD, for the sport of hockey in general. But what would you tell yourself as an 18-year-old freshman now, as a 22-year-old senior, that maybe you didn't know back then? What have you learned the most about what it means to be a Bulldog and be a successful college hockey player?
Yeah, I mean, tons, obviously, but I think I did a really good job when I was younger to really soak it in and really realize where I am. You know, it's a testament to the older guys. They taught me how to do that. They told me to do that. So, you know, I would just tell my younger self to slow down a bit and just enjoy the little things, being in the locker room after practice, and obviously taking care of my body is a big one, because when you run into an injury like that, everything changes in your mind, and every little injury or something that might be hurting you want to get taken care of right away. And I think for me that this year, that's what I'm seeing is happening. If something's bothering me, I don't hesitate to go into the training room and get it taken care of right away, because to play, and it's my last year, like I said, and you know, you want to be at your best every single game, and can't have a little nagging injury, not allowing that. So to take care of my body for sure.
brought up the Red Wings because you're a Michigan kid, Plymouth, Michigan. Which how far is that from downtown Detroit?
Yeah, like 25 minutes.
Yeah, like 25 minutes. Yeah. You never say you're from Detroit though, right? You're not one of those people.
Well, I'll say Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor. Yeah. Okay. So that brings me to a good question here. Take us through your recruiting process. How does a kid that grows up, not too far from the Michigan Wolverines? There's 7 college hockey programs in the state of Michigan. None of them sponsor Division I women's hockey, strangely. But you got 7 programs in the state. 3 are in the UP, granted, which is basically another state. How did you end up a Bulldog here in Minnesota?
Yeah, for me, it kind of all just blew up one week, and I was having a good 15U season. I got hurt that year, so I was kind of off the map. And then, North Dakota was one of the first teams that came and watched me as a school, and then a lot of the NCHC teams started calling, and then obviously the Michigan teams were completely involved. So for me, Jason Herter came to Michigan for the state tournament just out of nowhere. He actually played with my coach at Notre Dame Hounds. So he was there, talked to my dad a bit, and then I was like, all right, I don't know what UMD is at that point, and then they win back-to-back national championships, and I think I committed the next day after that without even visiting or anything like that. I think, just my conversations with Krause, he made me so comfortable, and, that's what you want. And then you hear all the great things about Sandy through my agent. He's been around a long time, both of them. So that's kind of what it was, feeling comfortable and feeling like I could get to the next step because, my end goal is going to the NHL, and I have no plan B.
So you committed to UMD without ever visiting Amsoil or the city of Duluth?
I think I went to Minnesota one time in my life. I was 12 years old for a tournament in the cities. So, and I didn't even know it was the cities at that point. Like I had no idea what anything was. I knew they played high school hockey, but that was it.
Not the Mall of America.
Yeah, we thought it was the Mall of America.
Yeah,
but that was
Mall of America was there.
You thought it was the only city in Minnesota?
Right. I thought I was in Minnesota, and that was it. I saw everything. So, yeah, I had never visited or anything.
Had every Michigan school reached out to you?
Yeah. I mean, the majority of the ones that we decided to call back were definitely heavily involved, for sure.
Yeah. How much? So at that time you're getting recruited, but you're not an NHL draft pick. You actually didn't get drafted until after your freshman year here at UMD, which is a little different than a lot of other guys. All these guys that came in, they've already been drafted a year, 2, some 3 before getting to UMD. How much did that change the course of your hockey career when the Blackhawks took you after your freshman year?
Oh, greatly. I think, coming in, I kind of burst onto the scene and at UMD, and getting that call for World Juniors kind of, gave me a lot more confidence as well. And then, teams start calling and your agent starts letting you know. And then, the rounds started going by that summer, and I thought maybe I wasn't going to even go. And then, thankfully I was picked by the Blackhawks in the 6th round. So for that to happen, it kind of just made me realize, like, I can do this. And, I always thought I was good. I always thought I was a focused guy. And then when that stuff started happening, it took me to a whole new level, for sure. I couldn't be more grateful for that organization to have picked me up because, they treat me like a pro player in college. So can't thank them enough. Before
you get drafted by the Blackhawks, even maybe before your freshman year, you talked about, you picked UMD, you think that's a school that can get you to the NHL. At that point, are you still thinking like, maybe I can be an NHL draft pick, or are you thinking like long-term, I'm looking for a school at this point to maybe prepare me as an undrafted free agent to go where I want? Yeah, for me, my first year eligible, I was sitting there in my billet's house, kind of just like maybe my name will pop up. Maybe filled out like one survey that 10 other guys on my team filled out. So I always thought I had it, and I thought maybe just one guy likes me, he'll take me. But there was no back end of that. I was not getting drafted my first 2 years. There was no talking to many teams. And then, like I said, when I became a freshman here, so I didn't really ever think about the undrafted or drafted kind of thing. I just, it was always the NHL, I think,
Just that's all I was thinking about. So once I found out what being an undrafted guy meant and all that kind of came into play when my agent, explained it. But when I was younger, I was just like, I didn't get drafted again, or just kind of didn't think about it.
One of the things you talked about that you've learned as time has gone on here at UMD is that you want to slow things down and not speed things up. When you're a freshman and you get the World Juniors call and you get drafted, and every guy is on their own timeline. We've learned that over the years here, and guys are ready to leave for the next level at different times and need different things out of their college experience. But it feels like there's a lot of outside forces that are trying to speed things up in the hockey world. Is that a real thing that now looking back on it, did things speed up in your freshman and sophomore years? And now maybe you get a chance to, as you say, try to slow things down and enjoy what you're doing here?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, once I, like I said, I kind of burst on the scene there, everything blew up. And, you're hearing a lot of different things from a lot of different people, and you're getting a lot of outside noise. So, and I had never dealt with that in my, adult career, I guess, or my junior career. So dealing with that my sophomore year was a little tough, and realizing that, there's so many people to listen to, so many people to not listen to. And I think for that first half of that my sophomore year, I definitely struggled with, not my mind not being, completely where it should be. Like I said, there's so much outside noise. So, but that was easy for me. Again, after I figured it out, Noah Cates was a senior my freshman year, and he decided to come back. So to not be in a rush, I kind of stopped all that after Christmas my sophomore year, and me and Sandy had a good talk, and he was able to calm me down a lot. So it was it was definitely tough for sure. Things speed up.
How difficult is it, I think, to focus on what you're doing Friday and Saturday nights? I mean, you guys are still human. There's a lot of, it's okay to dream about the NHL, right? I don't think anybody will tell you that you shouldn't dream about being in that spot one day, but to focus on what you're doing Friday, Saturday nights. And it's easy for Matt and I to say, before the season, Dom should put up 30 or 40 points this year. We expect that out of a player of his caliber, but then to go out and do it with everything else that's happening around you, school, personal life, stuff like this. Is that something that gets easier, or is it still really difficult to just kind of shut all that out and play?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult in many ways, but for me, it's something I've worked on. And you talk to a mental coach, or you talk to someone that you trust, and you can just talk those things out and realize that you don't have to worry about those things. And points aren't everything. And I'd love to be leading the country in points, but at the end of the day, I got to help in other areas. And for me, I have goals. I have point goals. I have all those goals, but I got to realize that if I don't get a point, I have to do other things, and that's how I'm going to help this team win, and I know that in my heart. So it's been a lot easier this year for me to be a more mature player about those type of things, for sure.
One of the current Blackhawks assistant coaches is your former coach here, Derek Plant. Now you're playing with both of his boys. Do you get a chance to talk to Derek much and anyone on that staff, on the head coaching staff? Maybe Derek reaches out a little more to you because you guys have a relationship. And from what we heard talking to Zam and Max on here, he's pretty excited about this team this year and checking in a lot. Do you get a lot of interaction with Derek?
Not with DP specifically, but I was there for Max's graduation party in the summer, so I got to see him then. I saw him at Surtees, get together there. But no, not too much talking, but it's always good to see DP. He was a huge part of my freshman year. I really enjoyed him as a coach, and, he helped me realize a lot of things for my game, and, gave me a lot of confidence for sure.
So what did you do with all your Detroit Red Wings gear after you got drafted by the Blackhawks? And what did your family do with their Red Wings gear? Because I'm assuming your entire family, all big Red Wings fans.
Yeah, there's still a lot of Red Wings stuff floating around, but we've moved a couple of times, so a lot of that stuff has kind of gotten weaned out of the household. So I haven't seen a lot of winged wheels around the house much. My mom's completely on the Blackhawks train now, so a lot of Bulldog stuff, obviously. So that usually takes the front runner.
Was it tough for anyone in your family? Did you have anyone in your family who's such a hardcore Red Wings fan that they will not root for the Blackhawks? Because my wife would probably be one of those where if Jack or Dylan, my kids, got drafted by the Blackhawks, I can't say with 100% that she would support them, that she wouldn't still be in the stands in a Red Wings gear. I joke with her sometimes. I went to Northern Michigan. I joke with her, well, what if one of our kids get like a full scholarship to Michigan Tech? That's a really good school. And she's like, no, they're not going to Tech. She's that kind of fan. Anyone in your family a complete holdout?
Not really. I mean,
Okay.
there not many hockey, people in my family, really.
Okay.
Yeah, hockey is started with me and my family.
That started with you and
yeah,
your
but
family?
I mean, my mom does like the Red Wings a lot. My dad, obviously, so. But no, they don't need to be pried off it.
Any other Michigan things you've had to give up and switch over to Chicago, whether it's Detroit style pizza versus Chicago style? What else did I have Chicago dogs versus Coney dogs? Anything else you've had to give up?
nothing crazy. No.
What's the one thing from Michigan you miss the most here in Minnesota?
I'm not even sure. I feel like I've been in Minnesota more the past 4 years, so I'm not even sure if I have an answer for you.
All right. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more with Dominic James. You're listening to the Bulldog Insider podcast, brought to you by Essentia Health.
Greetings from Northlandia, a place to bring your curiosity, because here you will find curiosities. Whether it's a look inside the Northern Rail Train Car Inn or an introduction to Duluth's musical roboticist, Robot Rickshaw, we celebrate the region's distinctive people, places, and history. Each week, I'm joined by my fellow reporters who share the unique and fascinating stories that they discover while exploring the Northland. You can find new episodes of the Northlandia podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Join us along this journey and discover the extraordinary stories that you just might miss if you're not in the right place at the right time, ready to step off the beaten path with no rush to return, here in Northlandia.
Hi, I'm Maria Lockwood, a reporter with the Superior Telegram. Explore Superior and Douglas County history with me on Archive Dive, a monthly podcast available at superiortelegram.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back to the Bulldog Insider podcast, brought to you by Essentia Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. They're proud to be the team physicians for the UMD Bulldogs and provide sports medicine care to more than 25,000 student athletes in the community to ensure they can compete at the highest level while protecting their long-term health and athletic futures. Thanks to Essentia Health for their support of the Bulldog Insider podcast. Welcome back to the Bulldog Insider podcast. I'm Matt Wellens, along with my co-host, Zach Schneider, and our guest this week, Bulldogs senior captain Dominic James. So we had a fun talk episode or two back here now. I can't remember who we had what weeks here, but since we do some of these recordings ahead of time and such, but with the Plant brothers, living with Jason Shagabe and Callum Arnott. Who are you living with this year in Duluth?
I've got Luke Bast, Matthew Perkins, Joe Molinar, and Owen Gallatin.
How long have you guys all lived to obviously Joe, this is his first year living with you guys, but Gally, I'm guessing, is a longtime roommate.
Gally I've lived with since I got to Duluth. And then the rest of the guys are just moving into our house first year this year. So
who's your roommate on the road?
It was Quinny Olson, but now I think it'll be Jack Smith or Matthew Perkins.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Do you guys get to choose roommates? Is that like a seniority thing?
I think CK and I kind of get together and pick them a bit. So try to split guys up. But Quinny was mine all growing up through college, so it was awesome.
That's a perk of being captain wearing a letter, right?
Yeah,
like you get to pick. I'm guessing we won't start anything on the podcast this week. One of the rare moments I won't have you start. I'm guessing you have teammates you'd prefer to live on room with on the road, and teammates that maybe don't want to room with on the road.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even quite sure. I would say I would go with everybody. Honestly,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good captain. Good politically correct captain.
Yeah.
That's good. In your house, who's the best cook in the house?
Oh, Basty's real good. Gally likes to try to do it. I mean, he's good.
Good effort. Good effort.
Yeah, he's got a good effort, and oftentimes it's good food. And then Perks is. I mean, all those guys are good. I would say I am the worst for sure.
You're the worst. Huh?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I'm fine with ground beef and rice, honestly. So I do that a lot, and I just there's chicken pot pie at Costco. I throw it in the oven. It's nice and easy. So I do a lot of the easy stuff, but I don't know. I take it kind of serious. Just I don't make many things.
What's the best thing that Luke Bass cooks?
Oh, I mean, he's got unreal recipes, and he's using the blender for the sauce and stuff. I mean,
so he's like a homemade sauce guy and everything.
Oh,
too.
Yeah, he's good. He takes it serious.
He
don't
cooks
even
for
know.
you guys, right? It's not just
no,
for him.
I've never had a full meal from him, but he's definitely dished me a plate or two, and I don't know. I couldn't. Even, he makes some hummus that he lets us all have for sure. House hummus, that's good. I would say that's my top one that he consistently
homemade
makes.
hummus. I don't know if I've ever had homemade hummus.
I mean, like from a restaurant,
Well,
there's some
yeah,
Greek
but-
restaurant.
yeah.
Detroit's got some good
Jeez.
Greek restaurants where
Yeah.
I've had some good hummus, but like actually at home, that's impressive. Who's the entertainer of the house? Who's making sure no one's hiding in their room and doing too much homework?
I don't know. Everyone's pretty chill and laid back because we're all a bit older guys. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, Basti and Joe like to park it on the couch there and watch TV down there. So definitely luring you in to lay around with them for sure.
And who's the guy that makes sure everyone is doing their homework, laying down the law, making sure that thermostat doesn't get too high?
Oh no, I like I said, we're not very serious in the house, so I don't know. If I had to pick one, maybe Gally would get hot about that, but I mean, I don't think he would.
Hot about the thermostat?
Yeah.
That's the guy who's put on a sweater. All right, we're gonna do a quick hit game to close out the show. We call it the yearbook game. Lots of new faces on the team, so maybe it's too early to know all these answers yet. Maybe not. Who's most likely on the team to end up on a reality TV show?
Probably Kyle Bettens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. He's kind of all over the place. Makes me laugh 10 times a day. So.
What kind of reality show? Are you thinking
Shoot,
you'd see
I
him
don't
on?
even know. I mean, he could be on Love Island or one of those. That's kind of the only reality show I know. So I don't know. He could be on anything. He's a Swiss Army knife.
Most likely to run for political office?
Carter Loney would be a good one. Owen Gallatin, just because he's a smart guy. Joe Molinar, too.
Joe Molinar.
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture Carter with the mustache and the long hair in a political ad there. Most likely to be a coach someday.
I mean, a lot of guys. Aiden Dubinsky would be a good guy. Yeah, I mean, I could go up and down the line for sure. Aiden Dubinsky would be my top one.
Aiden Dubinsky would be your top one? Okay.
Yeah. Will Francis would be a good one.
Will Francis would be a good one? Yeah. Okay. Most likely to become a Fortune 500 CEO?
I'll go Gally. Gally's got it. Duber's got it. Bodsey could, but I mean, he's going the medical route, so we'll see. I don't know. Gally probably.
Owen Gallatin has a bright future. If hockey doesn't work out for him, he's got a couple another avenues.
100%.
Huh?
Yeah, he's a hardworking guy. It just comes easy to him for sure.
Now, like Gally, is he like CEO? Because what type of CEO is he? Is he like the Steve Jobs? Because he's like can innovate and he's got these really good ideas, or is it he's a good leader and in good business sense?
Maybe just the good ideas and his hard work behind the scenes. Because I don't like doing homework. I'm not a guy who sits and does homework. But
I'm with you.
He's a guy. If he needs to get it done, he'll go to the library and do his homework. So maybe it's just because I don't like doing it, but yeah, he does that. So
he and Aiden Dubinsky, along with Joey Pierce, who we haven't mentioned yet, but those three are your alternate captains, so the leadership group. What's it been like with Gally and Doobie and Joey in having them with you in this journey this season so far?
Oh, it's great. I mean, these guys are the best support staff I could ask for. Earlier in the year, there was no assistant captain, so I was kind of a little bit on my own. But I had an idea of who was going to be with me. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't ask for more out of these guys. They're great, and the best part about them is they're not afraid to, if they disagree with something, they'll say it, and they're not afraid to have a conversation about something. So that's the best part about them for sure.
Most likely to win at Jeopardy.
Oh,
who's the trivia buff on the team?
Maybe JR could or Zach Sandy would know some of that. He sometimes has some outlandish facts. They may not be true or right, but I don't look them up to see if they are. So, yeah, JR would be a good one.
So what's your favorite Zach Sandy random fact that he's thrown out at you that may or may not be true?
He's got a lot of North Dakota facts, a lot of just random baseball facts. But I don't think I can pinpoint just one. It's just it comes out of nowhere, so he's another guy that'll get you laughing.
That'll be a main part of the Zach Sandy podcast.
And you got to get him his, he wants to be a broadcast, or he likes to be broadcasting. So when we'll be sitting in the living room, he'll just go and he'll do his broadcasting on the game. So it's awesome.
Oh, I was asking if he was like broadcasting from the bench. If if Zach can start like miking him up, instead of in between the benches, on the bench. Yeah, on the bench.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. Most likely to date a celebrity.
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe Betsy again. It's just such an easy. He's like I said, he's a Swiss Army knife. You have no idea what he can come up with. But yeah, I'll go Betts.
Betts is the guy that's going to bring.
He'll appreciate that I said that.
A Taylor Swift or someone to Amsoil Arena.
Yeah.
All right. That's all the time we have on the podcast this week. I was going to ask you about your dog, but I'll tease that. I have a story coming up about Dom's dog. It'll be in there asking the hard-hitting questions at NCHC Media Day to try and light things up.
There you go.
The Bulldog Insider Podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Like us, subscribe, and rate us. For more Bulldogs hockey coverage, visit DuluthNewsTribune.com/Bulldog Insider. Subscribe to gain access to all of our coverage all season long. Zach, what does the TV coverage look like this weekend? Both teams are on the road.
Yeah, 0. You got to look it up online to watch both teams because I'm going to the Chicago Marathon, so that worked out well. The men are gonna go to Lowell, and the women are at Wisconsin. So I think there's web streams of both of them. Big Ten Plus for the women, and Lowell's got to have a.
I would say
Lowell's on ESPN. I looked this up. Don't worry, Zach. I looked this up.
If they're not on our channel,
podcast.
that's on you, Matt. I know they're not on My 9 Sports.
Yeah. ESPN Plus
there you go.
is where you can find Hockey East teams, and I did double check because Lowell didn't advertise it on their website. They are on ESPN Plus. So if you watched Women versus Colgate on ESPN Plus, you'll be able to see the men at Lowell on ESPN Plus as well. Thanks to our sponsor, Essentia Health, for their support of the Bulldog Insider podcast, and thanks to all of you for listening. We'll catch you next week.